I never thought I'd have to hide in my own son's hospital like a fugitive. But there I was, pressed against a cold hallway wall, heart hammering in my chest, while a nurse whispered urgently in my ear, "You can't go in yet. Trust me. Hide and wait." Through the crack in the door, I could see my daughter-in-law standing beside my dying son's hospital bed. She wasn't crying. She wasn't praying. She was on her phone, and something about her voice, cold, calculated, made my skin crawl. I didn't understand what was happening. I just knew that something was terribly, horribly wrong. This is the story of how one emergency phone call led me to discover a truth so dark, it still keeps me awake at night. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to where this nightmare began. My name is Margaret Chin, and for 32 years I built a beautiful life. My husband passed when our son David was only 12, so I raised him alone. I worked double shifts at the post office, saved every penny, put him through college. David grew into a good man. Kind, hardworking, honest. He started a successful import business, bought a house in a nice neighborhood. As a mother, I couldn't have been prouder. Then 3 years ago he met Vanessa at a business conference. She was stunning, model tall, designer clothes, perfect smile. 28 years old with an MBA and ambition that could light up a room. I'll admit I was impressed at first. David seemed happy, and after years of focusing only on work, he deserved love. They married within 8 months. Looking back now, I see how fast she moved. But at the time I chalked it up to modern romance. Young people don't waste time anymore, right? I even helped with the wedding, contributed from my savings because I wanted to support my son's happiness. Vanessa and I were never close, but I thought we were cordial. She'd smile during family dinners, ask about my health, call me Mom, in that sweet voice. But there were moments, small things, that didn't sit right. The way her smile never reached her eyes when she looked at me. How she'd changed the subject whenever David mentioned adding my name to any documents. Once I overheard her on the phone saying, "Don't worry, she's old. This won't be a problem much longer." I told myself I was being paranoid, sensitive, an overbearing mother-in-law. I pushed those feelings down because I didn't want to be that woman who ruins her son's marriage. God, I wish I'd trusted my instincts. 6 weeks ago David got sick. It started with stomach problems, nausea, vomiting, weakness. He went to the doctor, who said it was probably stress or a virus. But it didn't get better. It got worse. David lost weight rapidly. His skin turned gray. He could barely get out of bed. Vanessa played the concerned wife perfectly. She took him to specialists, held his hand in waiting rooms, posted updates on social media asking for prayers. Everyone praised her devotion. "He's so lucky to have you," people commented. Meanwhile, I watched my son deteriorate day by day. Something felt wrong. The speed of his decline, the way symptoms kept changing, how no doctor could pinpoint exactly what was happening. But what did I know? I was just his mother, not a medical professional. Vanessa had all the right words, all the right explanations. I offered to move in and help, but Vanessa insisted she had it under control. "You need to rest, Mom. You've done so much already. Let me take care of him now." So I visited when I could, bringing soup and worry. David would be sleeping when I arrived or too weak to talk much. Vanessa always had an explanation ready. Then came the emergency call. It was a Tuesday afternoon. My phone rang and a hospital administrator told me David had been admitted to St. Catherine's Hospital with acute organ failure. Emergency admission. Critical condition. Family should come immediately. I grabbed my purse and ran. I didn't think. I just moved. My baby was dying and nothing else mattered. The whole taxi ride, I prayed harder than I'd prayed since my husband's funeral. "Please God, not my son. Take me instead. Please." When I burst through those hospital doors, I was ready to fight death itself to save David. What I wasn't ready for was what happened next. I rushed toward the ICU, following the signs with blurred vision and shaking hands. Room 407. That's where they said he was. I rounded the corner at full speed, and that's when she stopped me. A nurse, mid-40s, with kind eyes and a firm grip on my arm. "Mrs. Chin," she whispered urgently. "You can't go in there yet. You need to hide and wait." "What?" "No. That's my son. I need to see him." "I know, and you will. But trust me. If you go in now, everything will fall apart." She pulled me into a supply closet, her face deadly serious. "Your son is stable. He's sleeping. But his wife is in there right now, and she's not alone. You need to hear what they're saying. My mind was spinning. Nothing made sense. Who are you? What's going on? My name is Lisa. I've been David's nurse for 3 weeks. She paused, choosing her words carefully. Mrs. Chin, I've seen things that don't add up. For bags that weren't from our pharmacy. Your daughter-in-law doing things when she thought no one was watching. I started documenting everything because something felt very wrong. Wrong how? What are you saying? Lisa's jaw tightened. I can't prove it yet. That's why I need you to listen to what's happening in that room right now. He thinks you're still across town. She doesn't know the hospital called you directly. She's in there with someone talking and Lisa handed me a small recording device. You need to hear this yourself. Because if I'm right about what I think is happening, your son is in serious danger. My hands started shaking. Danger from what? From who? Just listen. Please. Record everything. Then we'll know what we're dealing with. We positioned ourselves in the adjacent supply room. The walls were thin and through the crack in the connecting door, I could see directly into David's room. My son lay in that bed, pale and unconscious, tubes running from his arms. And there beside him stood Vanessa, not in tears but on her phone, voice low and urgent. No, he's stable again. I don't know how. The doctor said his numbers improved overnight. She was pacing, frustrated. We don't have much time. His mother just got called, she'll be here soon. A man's voice, tinny through speakerphone. If he survives this episode, it's over. The timeline was specific. Any longer and someone will start asking questions. My breath caught. Timeline? Questions? What were they talking about? I know that, Richard. Vanessa snapped. I'm handling it. I just need access to the 4 one more time. A stronger dose. We finish this tonight. The world tilted. My hand flew to my mouth as Lisa gripped my shoulder. Finish this. Stronger dose. The words echoed in my head, rearranging everything I thought I knew. The lawyer, Richard, continued. And the mother? She's been sniffing around. What if she contests the will? Vanessa's laugh was ice. That useless old woman? Please. She has no legal claim once I'm the widow. Everything transfers automatically. The house, his business shares, the accounts. We set this up perfectly, remember? He changed everything to my name after we married for tax purposes. She gets nothing. I couldn't breathe. The woman I'd welcomed into our family, the woman I'd defended when friends questioned the quick marriage, the woman I'd called daughter. She was talking about my son like he was already dead. Like she was planning his death. And if she suspects something? She won't. She's too stupid and too emotional. He thinks I'm the loving wife. By the time she realizes anything, David will be gone and I'll be grieving too publicly for anyone to question me. Then it's just a matter of waiting out the estate process. 6 months, maybe less, and we're free. Beside me, Lisa was recording video through the crack, her phone steady despite her pale face. I was shaking so hard I almost dropped my own recorder, but I kept it running. Every word. Every horrible, unthinkable word. Vanessa moved closer to David's bedside. She stroked his hair, the same gesture I'd seen her do 100 times, thinking it was love. You were a good stepping stone, David. Your business contacts, your accounts, your desperate need to be loved after mommy kept you single for so long. You made this so easy. She pulled something from her purse. A small vial. Clear liquid. That's when everything clicked into place. The mysterious illness. The rapid decline. The symptoms that made no sense. David wasn't sick. He was being poisoned. By his own wife. 1 more dose. Maybe 2. Then it's finally over. Lisa grabbed my arm as I lunged forward. She shook her head firmly, mouthing, "Wait. We need more. We need proof." But watching that woman hold poison over my son's foreline, I couldn't wait anymore. Lisa burst through the door first, with me right behind her. "Step away from the patient. Now." Vanessa spun around, the vial clutched in her hand, her face shifting from shock to fury in seconds. "What the hell are you doing in here? This is a private room. It's a hospital room and I'm his nurse," Lisa said calmly, positioning herself between Vanessa and David. "And that's his mother, who has every right to be here." For a moment I couldn't speak. I could only stare at this woman, this stranger wearing my daughter-in-law's face, who had just revealed herself as something monstrous. Vanessa's mask slipped back into place. Sweet smile, concerned eyes, loving wife. Mom. Thank God you're here. David's had another episode, but the doctors say. I heard everything. My voice came out steady, stronger than I felt. Every single word. What you're doing to him. What you called me. What you're planning. Her face went white. Then red. The vial disappeared into her closed fist. You're insane. The stress has made you paranoid. I have recordings, Lisa interrupted, holding up her phone. Video, audio, time-stamped evidence of you tampering with his 4 bags. Photos of non-hospital medications in your purse during every visit. I've been documenting everything for 3 weeks because I knew something was wrong. And I just recorded your entire conversation, I added, holding up my device. Every word about finishing him tonight. About the inheritance. About calling me useless and stupid. You thought I couldn't hear you. But I heard everything. Vanessa's composure cracked. You can't. Those recordings are illegal. You had no right. Try me. I stepped closer, and for the first time in our relationship she backed away from me. You thought I was some helpless old woman you could brush aside. You thought my son's love made him blind. You thought you could murder him right in front of everyone and we'd all be too stupid to notice. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. You married my son for his money. And when you realized you'd have to wait years to get it, you decided to speed up the process. That's what's in your hand right now, isn't it? Whatever you've been using to destroy him from the inside. Hospital security arrived then, followed immediately by police. Lisa had already contacted them the moment David stabilized that morning, giving them time to position. They'd been listening to the entire conversation through Lisa's wire. Vanessa tried to run. Actually tried to push past the officers and flee. They caught her at the door, the vial still clenched in her fist. Test what's in her hand, Lisa told the officers. I believe you'll find it matches the substance I found in unlabeled syringes in her purse yesterday. They pried the vial from Vanessa's grip. She fought them, screaming about rights and lawyers and harassment. The woman who'd been so composed moments ago was now a thrashing, spitting fury. You're all crazy, she shrieked. I would never hurt David. I love him. You were about to inject something into his one officer said calmly. While discussing his death with someone named Richard. We heard everything. Her face went blank. Calculating. That was, you're taking things out of context. I was talking about a different situation. The stress of his illness. Save it for your lawyer, the officer said, pulling out handcuffs. Vanessa Chin, you're under arrest for attempted murder. They read her rights while she stared at me with pure hatred. All the sweetness, all the fake warmth. Gone. Just cold rage remained. You think you've won? She hissed as they cuffed her. He'll never forgive you for this. You've always been jealous of me, always wanted to control him. When he wakes up, he'll hate you for destroying his marriage. I walked right up to her, close enough to see the fear beneath her fury. My son is alive. That's all that matters. And when he wakes up, I'll tell him everything. Every lie you told. Every time you poisoned him while kissing his forehead. Every plan you made to steal his life. You're right about one thing, you called me useless. But this useless old woman just saved her son from you. She lunged at me then. Actually tried to attack me while in handcuffs. The officers had to physically restrain her, dragging her backward as she screamed obscenities. As they took her away, another officer approached. We picked up Richard Castellano an hour ago. Your nurse gave us his information from phone records. He's already talking, trying to cut a deal. What did he say? I asked. That this wasn't their first time. There are 2 other cases. Wealthy men who died of mysterious organ failure, both leaving everything to Ms. Chen. We're reopening those investigations now. My legs almost gave out. 2 other men. 2 other families destroyed. My son was supposed to be number 3. When they tested the vial, it contained concentrated oleander extract. Beautiful, deadly, nearly undetectable if you're not looking for it. Vanessa had been administering small doses for weeks, slowly destroying David's organs while playing the devoted wife. Each hospital visit, each loving gesture, each concerned phone call, all while she was killing him. Lisa had saved his life by switching his that morning, giving him clean fluids for the first time in weeks. That's why he'd stabilized. That's why Vanessa was panicking. Her carefully crafted timeline was falling apart. David woke up 4 days later. Confused, weak but alive. I was there holding his hand when his eyes opened. And when he asked what happened, I told him everything. Every painful detail. I showed him the recordings, the evidence, the truth about the woman he'd loved. He cried. God, we both cried for hours. For the betrayal, for the stolen months of his life, for how close he'd come to dying without ever knowing why. But he survived. We survived. The trial was brutal. Vanessa's lawyer tried every defense. Temporary insanity, misunderstood intentions, consensual euthanasia gone wrong. Nothing stuck. The recordings were clear. The evidence was overwhelming. And when Richard testified against her in exchange for a reduced sentence, describing in detail how they'd planned David's death and the deaths of 2 other men, the jury took less than 3 hours to convict. Vanessa was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Richard got 15 years for conspiracy. Investigators are still digging through her past, connecting dots that go back over a decade. David is recovering slowly. The poison damaged his kidneys and liver, but doctors say he'll make a full recovery with time and treatment. He moved back in with me during rehabilitation, and honestly, I love having my son home again. My son is alive. That's all that matters. Everything else is just the price evil pays when it underestimates love.